Let me guess, there's an
Just kidding,
unbutton.
Ace. Just kidding.
Is that better?
Yeah.
One second. Is there anyone here who's never been to Wisconsin before?
Woo!
Okay. That goes for me too. If anyone doesn't know, I'm from Southern California. So I'm getting used to the cold, all right?
It gets so much worse.
Take it off!
And now I'm cold again. Good morning, everybody. It helps if you turn them on, if I haven't been told that enough times in my life. Well, folks, welcome to the BRONIES Rack panel. So we're going to be kicking off Ponyville Ciderfest 2015. How was opening ceremonies? Was it good? So I got in at 4 a.m., which means I also enjoyed opening ceremonies from the comfort of my bed. So, missed it, but I heard it was good. Excited to get this going. This is my first time coming on out here. And to get this panel going, I'm going to bring up a couple of people. I guess we can start with the one, the only, B-Bids. The one and only. Back there.
Geez.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Also back there joining us, Haley Stino. And we will be your panel for today.
Wait, no, what? Saber. Who's that guy?
So,
Scaredy.
okay, Saber Spark 2.
I thought he died in the Hunger Games. Hunger Games.
So, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, of the four of us, who here has been here before?
I was here last year.
Were you the only one? Pedro,
Yeah.
were you here?
No, I wasn't here.
Who would come to such a godless place? It's so cold.
It is so cold.
Who here are locals? Yeah, represent.
Oh.
You guys live in a very frigid state.
I like it.
I'm from Georgia, and I'm like, there's a reason why we didn't invade you all over again. It's too cold.
Winter has been here.
No, it is cold. Like I was excited about coming on out here because I knew that it would be the coldest temperatures I've ever experienced in my life. And when I walked out of the airport, I was surprised I wasn't detained. Like, you know how airport security is probably more concerned about the people inside the airport? But when I left, they were probably like, we cannot let that guy out in public. Like, I was screaming.
Well, he's from California, so I mean, he barely sees liquid water, let alone.
Thanks for the water,
solid
bud. Yeah, the water's great here.
So when he sees snows, he's like, what is this?
We can sell this back at home. So is there anyone in the audience who has never heard of BRONIES React? Or has no idea what exactly BRONIES React is?
Oh, wow.
This is a... Oh, okay. See, I knew there'd be a hand somewhere. Don't be shy. The reason I always ask this is because we usually have somebody in the crowd, and I'm always curious what they're expecting when they get to this panel.
Hopefully not much.
So essentially what BRONIES React is, for those that don't know, is it's a series on YouTube that started out mostly as a parody and has kind of grown into its own thing with a number of people, including the four of us up here. A whole group of us usually get together, react to either key episodes or key features, things happening in the fandom, sometimes fan-made videos. So it's been quite a ride, and it's been really busy in the last month for me. So, yeah.
Poor thing.
Yeah, you...
Disgusting.
I'll come back to you later.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what Bronies React is. It's something that, like I said, it started off as a parody because there was a video that came out called Teens React to, the name's so long, My Little Pony, essentially. And so we made that parody to that video, and it took off a lot harder than I thought it would.
Look what you've done.
I'm sorry to everybody. I apologize. So,
That's what this panel is. It's just one long apology for an hour. I'm sorry.
let's see. First, my list of apologies. Okay. So one thing that we're going to do a lot in this panel is Q&A. If anyone has a question, I don't care how random it is. We're just going to have fun here this morning. It's actually past morning now, isn't it?
Yes. Technically.
Thank you. See, I appreciate that. Yeah, it is morning where I'm from. Yeah.
Have you ever had a panel where you actually like live react on the panel? That's blasphemy, right?
That is blasphemy.
I need to pre-record my responses.
Well, no.
Write the script.
No, what's funny is that it wouldn't so much be an issue of. I mean, we've done like the riffing panel at Brony.
Right.
But the bigger issue for me would be, for example, so has anyone here seen the new Equestria Girls movie? Does anyone want us to do a Bronies react to it?
Yes.
I kind of anticipated that already because I'm right now on the flight. Last night I was editing the Bronies react to Equestria Girls Friendship Games, so that is coming. It's on the way. I'm laughing, and since this is a wireless mic, I'm gonna just. By the way, if we make fun of anybody, don't take it personally. Okay, that's all I'm gonna throw out there now.
Lawyer up.
So, has anyone seen the con vlogs? By the way, yeah. So I just I wanted to point out that one thing that's cracking me up is I generally will take video of the panels, like to put them up, and this gentleman right here found the perfect spot to sit. Because I have a beautiful shot of your pink hair right now. No, you could stay there. I was going to move the camera. But I was just, that cracked me up a lot. I like your,
Wow.
Who are we today?
Jerk. Raise.
Flutter Guy. Can we hear it for Flutter Guy, ladies and gentlemen?
When the whole squad,
He came here to have a good time. You're moving him from his seats.
when the whole squad,
I'm the worst. I really am. No, actually, I don't know if anyone's seen it in here. Has anyone heard of Low Budgets?
No.
Yeah! Sweet. There's a couple of you in there. When we do that, we're competing. Basically, I do like demolition derbies and trailer racing and all sorts of junker car races. And all the camera work I do on site while we're doing this competition. So there's been a couple races where I watch a guy drive straight into a wall, and I'm more looking like, is the camera still there? And I ended up actually crashing really hard into that car. Well, I had to see if the camera was there. I ended up ripping off the entire front right suspension of my Lincoln Continental. Don't worry, that video's coming. It'll be really funny. So what we'll do, stories kind of just happen out of this. How were your guys' trips over here? Hey, Leo?
Yeah, it was fun.
Fun? Okay. It was fun.
The Phoenix airport is no bueno. It's no bueno. It's like if you land in one terminal, you actually have to go outside of the airport, go back through security to go to the next terminal. So if your flight's really close, you're probably gonna miss it, and all the security are just gonna be like, "Oh no, you're not gonna make it."
Well, I had a good flight to the Southwest. No one's on the plane. What'd you drop? Just my room. No, it was a good flight. I enjoyed it. A very smooth landing.
Stop lying to these good people.
My flight was pretty decent. One of the interesting moments from it, like I said, I was editing, and generally when I have like my whole setup going, I was sitting in an aisle seat, and the person next to me had to, get up to use the restroom or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. And instead of sitting back down, getting everything back set up, I was like, I'll just stand and wait. And 30 minutes later, I started to get concerned about this person who just never came back. I was like, stewardess? I think we lost somebody. 45 minutes later, they showed up, so I hope everything was okay. But it was interesting. I was like, oh, so I chose the wrong time to stand and wait for somebody. But the flight was smooth, good flight. surprisingly quiet. I was told that it was going to be really busy this time of year. Did anyone else notice that this weekend was actually kind of ideal to fly for those that did fly out?
Yeah.
At least I did.
Calm before the storm.
Yeah, because we all know what's coming up next week.
Pre-Christmas.
Pre-Christmas. So are there any questions out there by raise of hands? Anyone? Let's start with you, Fireman.
Okay, I noticed that you're coming up to your 5th anniversary soon.
Yeah, we've been married for 5 wonderful years.
Just have like a
Are you
flashback.
planning on doing a Bronies react to Teens react to My Little Pony?
That'd be interesting.
Dear Lord. Well, there's a couple things actually since you mentioned it. And for those that didn't hear the question, Fireman was mentioning how the 5-year anniversary for Bronies React is coming up here soon. It's coming up.
I think it's coming up in February.
Oh boy. And
Wait, that's 4 years.
what have I?
yeah,
So
it's 2017.
yeah, 2017. So it's still there on the horizon. If we're gonna do anything special for it. The other thing I'm trying to figure out right now is what I'm gonna do for my, assuming I get there, but I just passed 90,000 subscribers, so I'm like, oh, now I have to start paying attention to the 100K if I'm like what I should do for a sub special. One thing I want to do, and it's probably what I'm gonna try to do, is I made a movie way back in high school, and it's probably really bad, and I want to just like do a react to it, but actually just put it up. So yeah, no, I think I might do something with that, just to kind of show where things all started with the video making and laugh at myself, or something along those lines. But will we do a react to a react? It's not above us. So you never know. Any other questions out there? Yes, you in the front.
Are there any community guests that you wanted to have on Bronies React but haven't yet?
Any community guests that I've wanted to have that I haven't had?
I have an answer. We wanted to get Max, Hot Diggity Demon,
Yeah.
but he never happened.
He actually, for those that know Hot Diggity Demon, I was really surprised when
Can we
he
pause for a second? I love the fact the audience is like, yeah.
I like that there's like a rave going on in the background over there.
I know, right? That's what I've been paying attention to.
Can you all hear the questions being asked, by the way? Or is it hard for y'all to hear? Okay, cool.
Very good. Now you got them shutting the doors. We're isolated. I would like to thank Tic Tac in the back and all the AV staff. You guys are doing a great job. Yeah, so Hot Diggity Demon I contacted, and it was the most polite, like, gentlemanly response that I ever could have expected. Like, I was just expecting like a F no, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And he was just like, I really appreciate you coming to me to be in your project. I'm gonna politely have to decline because, and he gave me a couple reasons, and I went, okay, that's cool. So I mean, yeah, that was probably the biggest one that we went to. Another fandom person that I tried to get on was Tara Strong, but she never got back to me. That was a joke. Everyone's like, because that was definitely the biggest was Max. Another question. You?
For those of us who follow the low budgets, we know there was a bit of talk about what's going to go on with the future of Irwindale. What's being said with all that? Do we know? Do we not?
Okay, so I'll just keep repeating I have to get in the habit of doing this, but for the low budgets, the venue that we do it at is Irwindale Speedway. And that track has been in the news the last year because the land that it sits on has been sold to a development company who wants to put an outlet mall on top of where the speedway sits. And
Sounds like a plot from a movie or something.
we gotta save the farm. And the big problem with all this, with the series of low budgets, is that the only way we're even capable of doing everything that we do, we have like 15 cars, and even to store one of them, we would need to have the track land. We work there as employees, and they let us keep our cars there, and we work on our cars. It's 45 minutes away from where we live. And if the track went down, essentially, more than likely so with the series. And there hasn't really been a lot of news whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. We haven't been told yet that the 2016 season isn't happening, and we do know that there's 2 events on the schedule for sure for next year. But as far as how far it will go, how long the track will be around, it's all to be determined right now. So we know that the track itself, if they could do a night of destruction where we just have a bunch of destruction events every night, they would, except we would run out of cars really quickly. So yeah, thanks for asking. You behind.
You said you asked Tara Strong as a joke to be on Bronies React, and if that was a joke, then I can only assume that you haven't asked any of the major show stars. And if that's the case, how did you get Emmy Larson?
Can I answer this one a little bit?
Do you want to?
Didn't Larson ask you?
So I got a message on Twitter one day, and it was just a message basically saying, "Hey, I need to talk to you."
Dun, dun, dun.
And of course, I started assessing everything I had done in the last 3 months, going,
You're the father.
what have I done to piss off the show staff? And yeah, no, well, I mean, amongst other things, yeah. And we just kind of made it work out. Mitch is a really cool guy. We give him a hard time, but it's all in jest. He's got to be one of the coolest people we've ever met through the show. He's really a funny guy.
He's actually helped us out before. I don't know if you know, but if any of you've seen like the anthology series, at the end of, I think it was like anthology 2, we had Mitch jump out, and he's just like, she's dead. That's it. And it's like the end of like the Twilight Magical Mystery Cure, and like the scene where they just shoot lasers at her and she like disappears, and then he just jumps out and he's like, nah, she's dead, and then like roll credits. And he helped us out with that. Like he was just like, yeah, sure. Like he even escaped his handler because the handler was like, I don't know if he'll do it. He's like, come with me. We're gonna just escape to this back area and you're gonna film me. I was like, this sounds way more.
And Saber, you know this. Mitch actually doesn't give himself enough credit on how funny he actually is.
Yeah, it's amazing. So the guy is a professional writer, works for a show that's very successful, and he has his book series, which I believe is going to be made into a movie series here, I think. So when we were trying to convince him to join Bronies React, because he asked, and then he's like,
He talked himself out of it.
Yeah, and then we're like, it's too late. You signed the contract. You're on the series.
We had like Black Griffin like go up to him and be like, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Hair's very soft this morning. Yeah.
But he's very. He's like, I don't think I'm funny enough for Who's Line. We asked him to join on Who's Line, and he's like, I'm not funny enough. I'm like.
Saber, babe.
Well, I don't need a shower anymore.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. No, he's. Oh my God. That's right. Go ahead and drink it.
I know, we're wasting valuable resources over here.
All right, so he was very much so like, I'm not funny enough to be on Who's Line. I'm like, dude, you are a professional writer. You're hilarious. Why are you putting yourself down? So he's a very humble guy, and he said we give him a hard time, but he's all a good team player.
Yeah. So, you know what? I got a story.
Now what?
So, speaking of team players, so this last weekend, so for those that don't know, in addition to the pony stuff that I do, I'm also very heavily involved in racing, as you've heard about the low budgets. But I also work as a video announcer dude at racetracks. And this past weekend, we were in Las Vegas for this really big dirt track show, and the whole broadcast team, it was the first time I've ever been a part of something like it. It was kind of like a internet version of ESPN. You know, multi-cameras, instant replays, you got the headset on. I was like, wow, this is so weird. I don't know what to do with my hands. And we were in this, this house that we rented out for 10 guys and 1 girl. And I like how everyone laughs at that.
A new ABC series.
It's so innocent. And we...
Keep it together.
Well, I was going to say that when I got ready in the morning, I opened up my toiletry bag, and then I remembered that I'd packed for myself. And there was something, I need to figure out which jacket it was in. It's in here somewhere.
It's one of
Let's see here. So as I was doing my hair, somebody made note of something. Where are the pockets on this thing?
Your jacket.
Saber, stall. Douse yourself in water.
Pickles.
Oh yeah, so I like I said, I'm sitting there starting to do my hair, and someone's like, what are you brushing your hair with? And I'm like, what's the problem? It got the job done. It was just funny because I was like, oh yeah, I brought that. Cool. So, represent, right? All right.
You got that from Germany.
I did. I remember I went to Germany earlier this year, and some guy came up, and it has like a message on it that says "Stay Awesome Race," and this guy gives it to me, and I'm like, that's really cool. But in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm probably never gonna end up using this though. Until I remembered, I really need a hairbrush, and now I have one. So I've been using that thing for like months, and it does get the job done. So Rainbow Dash does my hair in the morning, every morning. So yeah.
You have to tell yourself that in the mirror. It's like, I'm awesome. I'm awesome. Damn it.
We got any other questions out there? Yes?
Now that Black Griffin is horse famous, does that change anything for the reacts?
Well, we fired him.
Now, when you say Black Griffin is horse famous,
I mean, infamous.
in my heart, he's always been horse famous. He'll be happy to hear that.
No, we got a funny story. So, are y'all familiar with cringe compilations?
Oh yeah.
I saw that the other day.
I was so proud. So I'm a huge fan of cringe compilations. There's something very like, I don't know, I was like, oh, I want to see how much I can go through this before I have to turn it off. And when I watch it with my friends, I'm always like, okay, someday I'm going to end up in one of these videos. I hope so. That's my goal. Let's do something that's cringe-worthy enough to be put in this compilation. And somebody on my Twitter tweeted a picture of, it was you? Yeah? Yeah, you tweeted the picture of Gabe's face, and it says like, most cringy videos, October 2014, or 15. I'm like, yes, we finally made it!
We've been trying to do this since we started doing videos together.
A long time.
How hard can it be to get on a cringe video?
Well, it's not fair, because we aren't anime fans, so it's not that easy for us. Alright, so I watched the video, and it's weird because the footage they used, it seemed like they just picked it randomly, right? Wasn't it your comment?
Yeah, when I watched it, I was really excited to see like, okay, what was the thing that finally set them into putting this into a cringe video? And it was literally, I think the guy just skipped to a certain like time and just said, okay, I'll take 20 seconds of this. And I was like,
was that really that cringy, honestly?
Well, it was like, oh, it's literally just, like it wasn't anything special. Like there's been some stuff where I'm like, this is funny.
Wait, there's parts of you like your shirt falling off a couch, and yet they use you just pointing at the camera.
My shirt falling off, what?
Well, were you
What?
like?
I don't remember that.
Well,
I don't think
maybe I was watching the wrong series, but still.
Steven, I have a funny story to tell about the video. Is that as soon as I saw it on Twitter, I loaded it up on my phone to see like what part they took. And Rob was sitting across the room, not seeing what the video was. He hears like the original part of the cringe video, and he's like, oh, that's terrible. And then he gets to the part with Gabe singing. He's like, oh, that sounds like Gabe singing. And I'm like, it is! And he's just like, oh!
Next question. I was gonna go to you in the back, and then we'll get to you.
Would you be able to explain how the My Little Vegas series came?
Oh my God!
Does anyone here not know what the My Little Vegas series is?
You are missing out. It is the greatest series come out from the Brony fandom ever. It is so unappreciated.
All right, guys. So here it is. I'm just gonna give you kind of like the synopsis of what the series is. All right. I walk around Las Vegas. I find drunk people and I ask them vague questions about My Little Pony.
It is so amazing.
Without telling them it's about My Little Pony, I'll just walk and be like, "Who's your favorite pony?" And they'll sit there and like in their drunk stupor just be like, "I have a donkey."
No, the best part is when they kind of like, you can see their brain wheels turning and they're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, with the elections coming up, one of my questions I was asking people is, who are you going to vote for, Celestia or Luna? And they just all sit there like, crap. And you'd be surprised how many people chose Luna just because of how short her name was. So if you were wondering about our voting system, guys, there you go.
You could do My Little Milwaukee.
My Little Milwaukee. Yeah, I guess we might have some drunk people here, won't we? But I'm going to have to find, asking drunk bronies about My Little Pony. I did that in Germany, actually.
No, ask drunk bronies about the political election. And be like, who are you voting for?
So yeah, so no, it was
The Lunar Republic.
yeah, and it really was a series that the first time we did it, it was like 1:30 in the morning on Fremont Street in Las Vegas, to which I've been now kicked off twice.
You're doing God's work.
Yeah, no, it's funny because the security are more worried about people with cameras than the guy on drugs and drunk that's over there doing backflips. They're like, yeah, but that guy has a camera. He's the suspect. So I guess I thought we were filming for like MTV or something. I'm like, guys, this is like a camera from Best Buy that I got for $300. I'm pretty sure MTV is kind of trumped.
We're doing a music video. It's not for MTV.
Okay. And yeah, so it's just, there's been some really, really interesting moments in that series. So My Little Vegas, how did it start? It was literally, I just went, I don't even know like what kind of set off the idea. I just went, I want to do this. It's just something I wanted to do, and I did it. And the first one was a lot better than I ever expected it could be. We got the drunkest guy I've ever seen in my life, to which I asked him who of the main six was his favorite, and I named him off. To which he proceeded to explain to me why Fluttershy was his favorite, because Stutters is a great guy who never stutters.
Was this the same guy who kept like following you around?
Yeah.
And, like, he like grabbed the mic from Ray.
I'd ask him,
He hold it
like,
up close like this.
does anyone here know who Oscar Goodman is? Okay, I didn't know either at the time, but he was like the ex-mayor of Las Vegas who went into, I guess he went into elementary schools and gave lectures about why prostitution is good for the economy.
What?
Yes, not joking.
Elementary school.
Elementary schools. Look it up on Wikipedia. So this guy, every time he grabbed the mic, he'd be drooling too, which was great. And he'd be like, Oscar Goodman. I guess he thought he was talking to Oscar Goodman, so he found his way to vent to Oscar Goodman, but he's a huge fan.
And
Huge
stutters.
fan. Yeah, and stutters. Great guy, never stutters, thinks the right things. It was just...
Watch the series.
If you haven't seen it, check it out. My Little Vegas. It's a while ago. I looked a little bit smaller in that video, but Tommy from the Low Budgets is also in it. At the time, he was actually going through cancer treatments when he was in it. So in case
He kicked its butt.
kicked his butt. So yeah. All right. So and then we had a question over here.
I was just curious because you said this is like the coldest place you've ever been to. Have you ever seen snow before?
Coldest place I've ever been to? Yes. Have I ever seen snow before? Yes.
You've been to Alaska, haven't you?
I've been to, you know what's funny is when you go to Alaska in summertime, I was like, oh, it's going to be so cold. It's Alaska. On the map, it's white. So it's got to always be snow. And I got there and it was like 70. And I went, oh.
Are the mosquitoes really bad there?
Mosquitoes?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I was on a cruise ship, so.
That's what I've been told. Like, they're bad.
Yeah, no, as far as have I seen snow, it's actually snowed at my house in Southern California once in my life.
That's happened?
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that crazy? It snowed, I think, 2 years ago.
Wow.
And it was like that deep.
They're building a snowman.
And I know, literally, we were like, yeah. So, yeah, this was, I think that's the, and then
Cars are just like piling up in the highway.
to give an idea of how often it snows where I live, the time before that it had snowed, I was
the Ice Age?
1 year old.
Really?
Literally, I was 1 year old. I have video of me going down on a sled. My dad's like, there's a big hill over here, and just pushed me down.
See, I'm imagining like that you're on a sled on a hill, but it's got like 1 centimeter of snow. So it's like that.
You just see the gravel underneath?
Bunch
Yeah.
of sparks shooting out.
Just like in Christmas Vacation. Yep. You had your hand up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't 70 a California winter?
Say that again?
I said, isn't 70 degrees winter in California?
70 degrees is very close to winter in California. Like right now, we're all bundled up, and we have like a high of like mid-70s. And we're like, oh my God, turn on the heater. No, it's it cools down. Like we'll get into like a high of 60s and 50s. What? You're laughing over here. Why? What's so funny?
I'm laughing because Britt tagged us in a photo going at the Bronies React panel, and then I took a picture of her like zoomed in, just going like on the Bronies React panel. Spotted you.
I thought you were laughing because you just recently moved out to California from
Oh yeah.
up on the northeast.
We left. It was 85 degrees. It was 85 degrees.
I
was
knew.
sweating. I was like, why am I wearing a flannel?
I was worried about that because it did warm up before we left. And I'm like, of course it's gonna do this. Like, we're gonna leave like really warm temperatures, and I'm gonna walk out of the plane and scream. And I did. Twice.
Did you do like a goat scream and you're like,
You know, I've never heard a goat scream before.
you know, those.
You haven't lived.
Any other questions? Yes.
Do you happen to have a favorite just joke from the series, from any of the?
Yeah, his acting.
Do you guys? What are your guys' favorite jokes? I know what mine is, and yeah.
I forget what react it is, but I think it was the one with like the changelings, and they revealed Chrysalis.
Oh yeah.
And Gabe just, like, the camera just zooms on his face, and he just starts screaming bloody murder, and then just fades out. And it's I thought that was hilarious. I thought just the timing of it was great. I loved it.
Paleo?
Oh, I like when Saber's like, well, if Twine's a princess, then I'm a princess too.
Yeah, that was kind of an iconic
I
moment.
got a side story for that. So Dusty Cat was sharing that story at another react. I think it was Equestria LA, where he's like, yeah, my favorite moment from the series is when Saber Spark, did this joke where, I was like, hey mom, I'm a princess, and then I was voicing my mom saying, no, you're an embarrassment. But Dusty Cat got the words mixed up. He goes, it's like, mom, I'm a princess. No, you're an accident. I'm like looking at Dusty like, Dusty, I didn't say that.
Both apply.
Do you have any favorite jokes, Henry?
I really liked the one.
Me too.
One of my favorites.
The one. It's
That one. No, what was it? That wasn't, I guess, it wasn't React. It was where you and Gabe go out and shoot the pandas.
Oh, that's what
that whole thing. But I don't know.
Stop pandas, by the way.
I like the one where you put the turkey baster on your head and you take that around. That's fantastic.
That was the day I earned Megan McCarthy's admiration. She's like, she direct messaged me saying, that was funny.
It's a Canadian squirt gun. Canadians are weird. So, has anyone seen the new React that went out recently? All right, I see a lot of hands not going up, but
go with this like
boy. No, I'm just kidding. So it was, we did a react, in case anyone doesn't know, we did a Bronies react to the Cutie Mark episode. And we actually, this is kind of a spoiler now for people that haven't seen it, that wanted maybe to see it.
Sweetie Belle blows up.
She does. We actually got all three of the voice actresses of the Cutie Mark Crusaders in the react. And there were jokes that, a lot of jokes that, naturally, there's from time to time jokes that I'm going to have to cut out. And there's one that, like, I was going to cut out, and I'm like, I told it to you.
Yeah.
I told it to you, and you're like, you have to use it.
It was too good.
And then I told it to, like, Gabe. I'm like, I might keep it. And he's like, oh, yeah, you got to.
It's amazing.
But, like, do something with it. And so Michelle jumps up right when they get their cutie marks, and she makes a reference to puberty, female puberty, yelling, we got our, and I'm like, how am I gonna, what can I do? And I was like, Microsoft Sam, looking up words and stuff, and then it all of a sudden like occurred to me, I'm like, oh, I know, I want to find like a documentary on something on pyramids. And the first thing I found was like, it had like the perfect like ding 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 Egyptian, that sounded like My Little Pony thing. But I had like, the music and the documentary and the guy like, the pyramids of Giza. And I was like, oh my God. So Michelle jumps up and oh my God, we got our pyramids of Giza. and it was like, I don't know, I was really proud of that one. Like,
I didn't get that joke at first, and I didn't get it. And I was like, oh, okay.
There's a lot of people that are like, I went back, like, because it shows up twice, because then at the very end, Claire also is like, guys, nobody is that excited about getting the pyramids of Giza.
So, I like how Claire pointed out that they spelled her name wrong.
I know. Yeah, they spelled her last name with an E, so.
She caught that pretty quickly, too.
Yeah. And my favorite part about it, too, was, and for anyone wondering, that was actually their first time watching the episode, because a lot of people are like, well, they know what happens in it, but they actually do the voices like a year in advance. They don't see the animations. Everyone kind of assumes that everyone that works on the show just like, I guess, gets sent a copy and like, here's what's going to go out in a week. But they don't see it until we see it.
Yeah.
And so for them, it was a first experience, and yeah, so Claire's just sitting there. They spelled my name wrong. it was funny. But you know what? I mean, they've only been airing the show for 5 years, so let's give them some time.
We'll drop the
Yeah, they'll get it. That was a good question. Other questions out there from you guys? Let's go. Yes.
Exactly how many energy drinks does Gabe slam before each of us reacts?
It's just genetics, man.
He was born an energy drink. Power thirst. Yeah. No, yeah, he just has that natural energy.
What's really weird about Gabe though is like he's nocturnal, and it's like 6 in the morning. You'll see like him commenting through videos, like on like the Bronies React and everything.
I don't think he sleep well. You know, he's a cyborg, so I mean, he just needs to recharge. Plugs into the wall. I saw some questions over here as well. Yes.
How much direction do you give your reactors? Like,
Well, he writes the script for us.
Yeah, I tell them word for word everyone what to say. That's why it takes so long to make them. Everyone's like, what? No, actually, it's a funny joke. All I give as far as direction, and I've even gotten lazier, I guess you could say, with it, is that I used to just give key scenes and say, you know, here's some scene. Like for an episode, for a movie like Equestria Girls, all I do is like, I used to lay out time codes and be like, here's key moments in it, so they can give me those time codes back or say, this is what you titled this is what I'm reacting to. And no, I mean, I don't tell anybody what to say, what to do. Sometimes we coordinate stuff, but other than that, it's very, like, I don't do any scripting or anything like that. What was I going to say? Oh, I saw something funny online, though, at one point, because I always put at the end, coordinated by ACRacebest, and some people interpret that differently. And online, there was a discussion about when M.A. Larson was on the React, and they were like, were all these Mitch's jokes, or were like, what's the deal here? That was really funny. And someone responded going, you idiot, it says coordinated by ACRacebest. He wrote all of his lines. He writ all of his lines. And I was laughing at that. I'm just like, how much time do you guys think I put into this stuff? No, but the reason that I don't script anything is because I like the flavor of each individual reactor coming out, their own style of humor, because everyone, you know, everyone finds something different funny. And I like having that mixture of, hey guys, because they'll find stuff that I didn't see. And it'll
Little
get
Shy is really good at that.
Oh yeah. One of Little Shy's shining moments had to be when, actually, you know what, real quick, I meant to mention this a lot earlier.
Where's Toonlink?
Where's Toonlink? Has anyone seen I'm a Toonlink?
Is he in the audience?
I hope he's okay.
He's still
Because he was listed as being on the panel, but as you can see, he's not on the panel.
Maybe his flight was delayed?
It could have been.
No, he landed in yesterday, unless he's still at the airport.
No one picked me up.
He's still walking through the
I'm walking it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't blame him for not leaving the airport. It was freaking cold.
He's from Australia, too. So.
But yeah, so that's why I was going to say Little Shy, one of his shining moments was when he pointed out that error in, what was it, the season premiere, where Rainbow Dash's neck is like a giraffe. Because I thought it was a joke. I thought he edited himself, and then I went back and I'm like, oh my god, it actually happened. So yeah, no, everyone finds something different. That's what I love about it. Because for me, going back and watching, like for Equestria Girls, for example, I have 2.5 hours of footage from Black Griffin.
He doesn't know how to log his stuff.
Cup down.
Jurassic Park. Whoa!
So
parkour.
So yeah, no scripting. I saw another question in the back there. Yes? Oh yeah, it was you, and then we'll get you.
They're just asking to go to the bathroom.
There's supposed to be a lot of snow this weekend. Would you guys be up for a snowball fight?
Yes. It's already been planned.
I'm just gonna ask one question. We can do that inside, right?
The thing is, when they catch the snowballs, they're gonna start drinking it.
Put it in my pockets like this will be great.
The water, the avocados.
Don't you know people from Milwaukee just shovel the snow inside? They're like, yeah, get in here.
And then you had a question as well in front. I think you did.
How, like, you were just talking, you know, you had like 2 hours from like Black Griffin. Like, how much stuff gets cut out? And then, like,
how often do your reactors send you like clips and you're like, oh, that joke's a bit too much, I gotta leave that out? How much is that?
There's a lot of those jokes are actually self-restrained by the reactors themselves because they'll make it and then go, don't use that. There's a lot of types of jokes that I'll keep out. I do have a line that I like to draw. It's not so much against you're laughing.
You know why?
I do. Do you want to tell or do you want me to?
I can tell.
Okay. So I'll lead this in and then I'll let you tell.
Go for it.
So there's one person ever in the history of Bronies React to manage to get entirely cut out of the React. It was him.
Oops. So what happened was I was sitting at my desk and I was like, what was the episode we were watching?
It was the season premiere.
Oh, it's the season premiere. Okay. So I was sitting at my desk and I was like, God, I have to react to this. And I think that I pulled out a gun at that point and I'm already like, oh God. And then my roommate has like full SWAT gear that he just owns because he goes airsofting and stuff like that. And he comes out of out of this closet in the background screaming Russian at me and then hits me in the face. And I'm supposed to like black out and then wake up with like a light on me and I'm just got like red all over my face and I'm tied up and I'm like, what's happening? And he's like, you have to watch our propaganda and like you have to go over to the communist side. And I'm like, why do you keep force feeding me raspberries? Like there's raspberries all over my face. It's just like they make the process easier.
It was so intense watching this. I was like, oh my God.
So I'm like, oh God, why?
It was really well done. I just was like, this is you found the line.
So then I'm like watching the show, and he's just like, watch this while I force feed you like raspberries. And I'm just like trying to be like, what am I seeing? This is ridiculous. And he's just like, no, it's amazing. He's just like trying to like force me into the side of the horses, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it wasn't. It was definitely not a knock on effort, but it was just like
I was just like, I don't think you're gonna accept this, and you're like, you are right, sir.
No, yeah, I did feel bad about that when I was like, oh,
No.
but yeah, no, there was. I was just like, man, but yeah, there are a number of types of jokes that I don't include that you won't see in a Bronies React, and that's just because I feel like there's a tasteful side of jokes. And then there's like a, ooh.
You can say it gets racy.
Yes. And as we all know, we don't want to get racy. So that's that. And then, was there another, yes? Yeah.
Okay, so Bronies reacts as always to openers and finales, and more recently to the Lost Mark. Are there any episodes that you or anyone wanted to do a react to but can't or don't because it's not really a big key episode?
So just to restate, basically the question was, are there any episodes that we haven't reacted to either because of where they were in the season or various other reasons for it? Yes. I should more say there have been ones that I've contemplated reacting to. The two that weren't openers or finales that we did do this season was the 100th episode as well as the Cutie Mark episode. And for those were obviously two really big episodes, and we were like, we have to do it. And Gabe was actually a really big driving force behind getting the Cutie Mark episode rolling. So I got to give him a lot of credit. As far as an episode that I think would have the closest episode I've ever come to making a react to that I didn't was the cheese sandwich episode. That one, I'm sorry. Now the reason behind it wasn't just because I went, nah, it's a lot of it is because of time, and right now I'm hitting that exact problem because, as I mentioned, I'm working on friendship games, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get it done, and everyone's like, where is it? Is he not doing it? What's wrong? And that's why actually that the Cutie Mark episode was with a shorter cast, is because literally at the same time I was making both reacts. So instead of straining my reactors, I'm like, I'm gonna use a select group for the Cutie Mark episode. I have the full group for the Equestria Girls episode. And then what's coming up in 2 weeks? The finale. It's like, oh. So there's a lot of work I have to do right now where, I mean, there's a lot of time that goes into making the reacts, both on their side and then with me going through everyone's footage, which is why, you know, on the plane I was editing. When I'm driving around, I'll be editing. While driving. No, whenever I'm in a passenger seat, I'll be editing. So there's a lot of editing that goes around whenever I can find the time. So that's why, yeah.
What about like community videos and stuff? Because I know in the past you've done a couple.
Yeah, there's actually that's a good point too. There were 2 that we were really close to reacting to as far as community community videos, and one was Double Rain Boom, and the other one was the Snowdrop animation. Both of those, but again, those ones I think both managed to land right around time as far as, I think they're right around either an opener or a finale. I'm probably just making an excuse. Someone's going to pull it and be like, it was nowhere close. The other thing we do is Halloween reacts. We didn't do one this year, obviously, because of the other reacts that were in the works. So, yeah. So there's going to be like 3 Bronies reacts coming out within the next 2 months, including the one that just came out. There's going to be, again, Friendship Games, and then the finale will follow that one probably by a month. So, yeah. You've had your hand up for a while.
You guys have had Gabe on your React for quite a while. How come you never had Michelle on there? Like, they're really close friends, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, now, well, the fun part with Michelle, as mentioned, somebody mentioned how she was in the Smile HD React where she showed up, and it's fun because her mom, Monique, is in there, and she does the whole React with Gabe, basically, which I found really amusing, and a lot of people are like, huh, Gabe's mom just walked right in, which, I mean, that always cracks me up personally. But as far as why, a lot of it is because the obvious thing is that she is somebody, what am I looking for, the right word? A show staff. And it's been something that we're obviously very careful with how we go about the reacts, especially when it comes to reacting to show stuff. And when it has been show stuff, that's one thing that we've mostly avoided until Larson showed up and kind of paved the way there and was like, guys, I want to be in this react, let's do this. And we were like, all right, let's do it. And had a lot of fun with that. So that kind of opened up that possibility.
We weren't sure how Hasbro would react to this, if there's any kind of like contract breaking. So
it's just something, again, and specifically because the Cutie Mark episode was such a big deal and able to get the 3 of them together, that's where we went, okay, you know, we'll make it work for this one.
We're gonna phase all the Bronies out eventually. We're just nothing with show staff.
We're working on it. So as far as her showing up in the future, that's to be seen. She might pop in for something here or there, or she might not. It's just, again, it's just one of those things that because we're reacting to actual show footage for most of these, it's something that everybody involved just has to play the right cards. So.
You know when you're trying to cover your steps?
Cover my steps, right?
Like a lawyer up.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a couple other hands.
Oh, there they are.
Okay, let's start with you here.
Have you guys ever watched an episode
No.
on accident?
Watched an episode on accident?
Like
The first one?
No.
Oops! Oh no, it's on now! What's happening to me? I can't stop it!
Like, I mean, have you ever watched an episode first and then they ask you to do a react and then you're like, darn it.
Race once came to me and was like, hey, we're gonna react to this thing, and I went, no.
I always find it funny because he's the one asking questions during the react.
The bonus?
Yeah, and then you'll hear him asking himself questions like, "What did you think about this?" Well, I thought about
since
that.
you asked,
you're even like looking at like away from the camera, make it look like real.
Yeah, well, people do it differently with the react. Some people will go through and watch the episode. It's kind of split 50-50 with how people do it. Some people will watch the episode and just write down the jokes that pop in their mind and then work on delivery. Like sometimes you'll see in a react a really fleshed out joke, where like they had props and everything, and that's obviously not something that they just went, oh, well, I have a chainsaw right behind me. This is great. I had to cut that joke out too.
This is the bedroom chainsaw.
That was the joke. So the
bedroom chainsaw. I'm sorry. What was that?
Well, I was like, this is my bedroom chainsaw. The regular one's in the garage.
That reminds me of a video I saw of this Russian guy trying to get a cat out of a tree, and he was failing like every single way. And he asked these people in the house, like, "Do you all have a butcher's axe? Everyone has one." And they had one, so I thought that was really funny. But about the well, and only I found it funny.
But I was gonna say, as far as I don't know if anyone's accidentally seen the episode. Like people make it work. For me personally, I always aim to film the first time, so I'll hold off on watching something. So for me, it is the first time you're seeing it. For like I said, it kind of goes 50-50 with other people. I am very big though on not watching an episode and avoiding spoilers at the same time until I have a camera in front of me. And sometimes I'm walking around with like this, and I'm like, "Hi, Saber."
Let's imagine.
What?
Do you do that in real life? Like at work or something?
No, I do, because everyone at work's talking about the episode. So I'm like, God, guys,
at the raceway.
So yeah, like I said, it goes both ways. Other questions? Yeah.
Would you ever have fans on React?
Like ceiling fans? There's the one thing I've always had to work around is that ever since the first one came out, because nobody knew the first one was even coming out, and then the second one, nobody knew a follow-up was coming out. Once it became a series, I get a lot of people who daily are asking through various forms of the internet, Facebook, Twitter, they're messaging me on my phone. I'm like, how did you get my number? So that's one thing, like we've talked about it before, about doing a massive react with just anybody, just send your footage to this email address. But it's one thing that we haven't done yet, A, because there's a lot that we'd have to figure out with the logistics of it. And B, it's just a matter of quality control as well. Like one thing I'm really big on is, having a good camera quality, good audio quality, aim for that. Obviously it's not always the case, but that's the goal. So as far as having, well, actually I'd like to kind of do a U-turn on this and say one thing I love that I'm seeing is that just because we're making a Bronies React, obviously there's groups that are now making their Bronies React, and like they have the Australian Bronies React, military Bronies React, a bunch of different types of Bronies React.
There's a recent analyst one too.
The analyst Bronies React, Brownies React.
Brownies React. Well, wait, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, has anyone actually done the joke of just having a brownie be sitting in the seat and then just have it talking, and it's like, this was really a delicious episode.
Yeah, so it's that's the one thing is I always encourage people. Don't be afraid to jump on the computer, start putting your own stuff together. I just noticed you have a Jeff Gordon hat on. Sorry, I just had to throw that out there. It's his last race this weekend.
Good.
Good. So yeah, that'd be that answer. And then there are other hands back here.
What time do we end at, by the way? Does anybody know? 1:30?
We end at 5 p.m., is that right?
Yes.
What?
You want to do a lightning round?
40 minutes. Okay.
You want to do a lightning round?
We're right there. We'll do 1 more minute worth. Okay, what do you got?
You said earlier that you put in a lot of time into editing these things.
I was exaggerating.
No, he doesn't.
I was just wondering how many hours do you actually put in per video, and how many total man hours go into each?
Man.
It'd be easier probably to tell you how many weeks. It usually probably takes a solid 2 straight weeks of editing. No, not editing. Of compiling, doing everything. The reason it takes a month of setting up these Bronies Reacts is because I like to give everyone enough time to get their footage in.
I told you I'll get to you in a bit.
And because I know that the Bronies React, it's not these guys' job. It's not something where, you're obligated to do this. I try to work around everyone's schedule. So that's why I try to give plenty of time, usually 2 to 3 weeks, for people to get their footage in, because a lot of people have to utilize the weekend and are able to get their footage in. Maybe this weekend's tied up next weekend, and I try to really work with people on that end. So that's where the first amount of time comes in, and then I watch through everyone's footage. I don't skip around. I watch through everyone's footage because even though I could go off audio tabs, sometimes people are just making facial reactions to something, and so there's times where I'm like, oh, that'll be funny to include, but I would have missed it if I was skipping around. So, for example, 2.5 hours worth of watching Gabe last night was fun. But what's fun with Gabe is that he'll talk to me during the react, so I don't actually feel so lonely. Like, he'll just be like, Race, I'm gonna go make a sandwich. You want anything? And I'll be like, yeah, thanks. So, yeah. I just want to check real quick, by the way. Was there anyone over here? I know we've been over there a lot. Anyone over here who has a question before we go into lightning round? Yes.
Yes, so real quick, backpedaling to the cutscenes, is there any chance you would consider making a compilation of those? Just
Blooper reel.
Like of the blooper reels?
deleted scenes. Only stuff that you had to cut out.
Oh, stuff that I had to cut. Well, half the time the reason I cut the stuff out is because I'm like, this will never see the light of day. One of my favorites, actually, and now I'm not so afraid to bring it up because I'm still waiting on his footage. Saber made a really funny joke once about crystal ponies, and he had shampoo.
Yep. So lightning round. How about that? So the way lightning round works
He
is
squeezed the shampoo bottle and it
throw your hand
was
up,
funny.
ask a question, and we'll answer it very quickly, and then we'll hop to the next one.
All right, let's start with you.
Yes.
How do you select people to join the BRONIES react?
Dartboard.
Next question. Donald Trump. You.
I can't spell celestial. Huh? Crump. Apple.
Purse. You. Too long. You.
BRONIES react after dark.
No. You. Yes.
Who's got the better laugh, Race or Spark?
I cough when I laugh now. I'm like,
he's like Smeagol. All right.
Saber has a very contagious laugh. You. Oh, that's not appropriate. Next.
What pony is that? What's that?
Mustard or mayo?
Mustard.
Mayo or mustard?
What? A lot of bait good people here today.
Yeah, I mean,
both.
Waffle or pancake?
Waffle.
Pancake.
Waffle.
Waffles. Oh, my pancake people.
Best
aren't here.
rock? Roll. You.
Beverage of choice.
Root beer.
All of it.
Sundrop.
You.
You.
Bears.
Vikings.
Vikings. Viking Bears.
Yes, sir, back there. Both of you at the same time.
Waffle Mac or Cheerly Mac?
Celibate Mac. You.
Big Mac.
Yes.
Macintosh.
What's that?
Favorite ship?
The Titanic.
Titanic.
Hey, you.
You.
TP.
Race Spark.
Aww.
You. Blue.
I'm colorblind.
Turquoise.
Okay.
You. Somebody.
Hey.
You.
Would Gabe be considered chocolate energy or raw berry?
Raw berry.
Nuclear.
Hey. I have a question for the audience.
Yeah.
If it's possible. Okay. How many of you have seen Back to the Future 3? Okay. Now at the end of the movie, you know how Doc Brown the whole time is like, I can't take this woman who was supposed to die out of this timeline. That'll ruin everything. Wouldn't it be more, wouldn't it ruin the timeline more that they stopped an entire train of people going to San Diego? And it was like, he had no problem doing that.
Did you lose sleep over this? Like, where did that come
I was
from?
like, I don't understand.
Okay, I got something that bothered me yesterday.
What?
So I
What would
the rash?
be more of an impact? Him stealing a dead woman from a timeline or stopping all those people from getting to their destination?
Well, since you did both, I'd say both.
That's true.
What's your question is?
All right. So has anyone noticed? All right, how many of you have flown in the last year or two? All right. So you know how planes are starting to get up with the times, and they're including electrical outlets on their seats. Has anyone noticed that in every 3 seats they only give you 2 outlets?
Rock, paper, scissors.
What the hell? Why do they do this to us? I was just I wonder how many people have legitimately gotten into fights over that's my outlet.
We're just asking obscure questions now.
That one kept me up at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some more. Go. Yes.
I know Black Griffin skydives. Do you guys skydive?
No, we will
I
live.
jumped off the bed once. Yes. Next.
Favorite background character?
Sea Swirl.
Saber Spark. Yes.
Applejack.
Applejack.
Favorite Bible verse? Oh, never mind. Romans. Turkey. You.
Chicken.
Rockets or hand grenades?
Rockets. Hand grenades scare me. Yeah.
Bouncy or no whacking?
Uh-oh. Both at the same time, please. Yes.
Fallout or Elder Scrolls?
I fell over. Yes.
I don't wear Uggs.
What are those?
Star Wars. You. What's football?
The Dodgers.
Favorite Lego World? I guess Lego World. Anybody else? No? Is that
Last
it?
question. Let's finish it off with a bang. You. I love my little
Minesweeper.
pony.
EA, take all my money.
All right, folks. So I think we're going to tie it up there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to the Bronies React panel.
Have a great con, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Oh, and don't forget, everybody, tomorrow at 11:30, Who's Line?
Woo!